Welcome to Vision Plus.
Those being laid off, he took a job up here, and we were looking for a place to live, and he would be working in Huntsville. And we looked all around Huntsville, we looked all the surrounding area, and we kept coming back to this little house on that mountain that was 35 miles from his work, 35 miles from the church that we had started going to, and but we just, out of a lot of prayer, felt like that's where God wanted us, and didn't know why. And then he got laid off from his job, and that was 6 months after we moved up here.
Oh.
And yeah, and so he worked for himself, and we were just kind of trying to feel our way. And it's a very small, Woodville's very small, less than 800 people, very tight-knit community. We were outsiders, kind of hard to break into that, and still
That's a
didn't
lot of
know.
churches.
There's a lot of little churches there. We go to Huntsville Christian Church. That's where God's got us working right now, and we love it there. And my husband was doing some work for himself. He works on big boats, and then he got a job offer out in Texas. So last summer, we went out there, and
What part of Texas?
around Lake Texoma, and so the northern part, and so we went out there. He was out there before us, and then the kids and I went out there, and we just God had always provided for us, but we kind of got into the position. We knew the winter was coming, the work was not going to be there, got scared, took that job offer, and we realized that's not what God had planned for us. And we couldn't bring ourselves to put our house on the market out here, even though that would have helped out financially a lot. But decided that, this is where we needed to be, and came back here. Now my husband's driving a truck, and we got back here, and shortly after that, God just kind of revealed to us that through some connections that we had made, that that's where he wanted us. And we started doing some work at the Manna House, and got hooked up with someone else.
Rock Family Worship Center had started that Manna.
Yes, and there's a lot of churches and businesses
Yes,
that
that's
are
right.
involved in that. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization.
Yes, it is.
And Fran that runs that is just amazing. But through someone we met that was trying to run a food pantry down there in Woodville, but kind of hard to do it all, we partnered with her and get people from our church. Some of them donate some food and are able to help, and once a week we have some families that come, and we pack them boxes of groceries and send them home, and sometimes we'll put gas in somebody's car so they can go to a job interview, or clothes for kids. My ministry, my personal ministry, is Mountain Mission.
I like that.
Because we're out here on the mountain.
I'm almost sad you left Texoma, because my parents always went there every year to go fishing with his. He had 5 or 6, 7, 8 brothers and sisters, and that's where they would meet and fish. And so one time my son and I went, and a tornado came, and we're out in the boat out by ourselves. But we got back to the house and stayed in the bathtub.
Oh,
safe.
Yeah, the tornadoes come through there quite a bit. Not as much as here, although we do have some here too.
Yeah, that's true that we do. But so you came back, and so your ministry, you actually joined hands with some other ministries.
Well, I've joined hands with a woman out
Manna
there,
House.
and then a Manna House here, and my church, Huntsville Christian Church. We have a joy group there, and just older youth. They are wonderful, and they have decided to help us out, and they donate some canned goods to us and stuff, which is very wonderful. I mean, you really don't realize, just being at the store when you're doing grocery shopping and you pick up 1 or 2 extra cans, how much that will help
somebody else.
Right, because we've gone. I've been to deliver food to someone, and all they had in their house was 1 can of vegetables for their whole family, and didn't know how they were going to feed their family. And so that's a whole God timing thing, and you just don't know. You don't know the big picture. And
I'm sad that we send so many things out of the country when there's people right here,
Right.
both in NA and LA,
Mhm.
that need help from not only the state of Alabama, but other states. But I'm hoping what you're doing, that other people will pick that up and do that in other areas too.
Yeah, well, that would be wonderful. I mean, I spent a few years in the summers going to Haiti, and my father would always say, "Well, there's plenty of people here in this country who need help," and I knew that, but that I didn't feel was my calling at that time. But the things that I did in Haiti and preparing for that, I think have prepared me for what I'm doing now, if that makes sense.
Of course, Tonya. I think it does. When in the Manor House right after Katrina, there were 17 of us that went down. Actually, they put us in different places, Gulfports, where they sent me, and we took food, many vans full of food, but people donated them to the Manor House. So I know how important it was. I remember as people came through the lines with their cars, and we'd say, "Well, how much do you need?" And they would say, "Well, there's 16 people living in our house now," because they were one of them that maybe their house wasn't blown away. Thinking about your husband helping with the boats, the big boats, we would see yachts on the side of the hills that that were just destroyed.
Yeah.
And so wherever you go and help with people, it is so needed, and I am so glad you're doing that right here.
Right.
So, you collect clothing and food,
And
where do you keep all of that? I mean, we moved from big house to little house, and we don't have room for it.
And we have a little house, but on our property we also have and there's an old single wide trailer that is really not livable, so it's become storage. And then the town in Woodville has, we used to have a food pantry area in the library, and the library was going to expand, and so the town kind of carved us out of one of their buildings,
Really?
a little space, which actually gave us a little bit more space. So it was a blessing, in disguise, being kicked out of one place, and then we ended up better off. So that's been really good, and the mayor there has been wonderful. We had in the wintertime that big storm that people were snowed in for days.
Yes.
And I had only met her once briefly. She called and offered her assistance if we knew anybody that needed help. And I told her she was on the bottom of the mountain, I was on the top, and between us both we'd be able to take care of things. But that was great to have that support, because you just don't know if people really realize what you're doing.
How do you find the people?
It's a small community, and everybody kind of knows everybody. And
do you keep it confined to the Woodville area?
well, we try to do that only because if we open it up, we just don't
Where do you
have
stop?
that right, and we don't have the ability. But there are those, we may get a dire phone call that there's just somebody's house burned down, or there's something just emergency, and if we're able to take care of that, we do. We've helped people in Gurley, we've helped some families through our church. So but our main focus is Woodville. That's where I feel that our ministry is. I feel God's put us there. That's it right now, unless he shows me something else.
Well, and there must be enough people that you're helping. Are the same people coming back again?
We have about 20 to 25 families that we see every week, but then there are some that come.
Are they not on?
Some of them are, but what's
Medicaid
interesting is that
Food stamps?
it used to be you grow up and you move out of your parents' house and you're out on your own, and it seems to me that we see a lot of people moving in with their parents, with their grandparents, several generations in one home.
Yes.
People
I
are
call
without
them
a job.
boomerang kids. They're
Yeah.
back again. I thought we were ready.
Well, and there's a lot of people without a job, and
Yeah.
there's really nowhere, there's nowhere to work in Woodville, so you have to go to Huntsville or to Scottsboro,
And all
and then you
that
have to be able to
gasoline.
afford gas to do
Right.
that. So it's kind of a cycle that,
Mhm.
how do you get the gas to go there to make the money to buy the gas? So, we've just been blessed that God has provided us a way to go back and forth. And I've always said that, if He wanted us to do that, He would provide the way, and He has.
So, do you have the same people donating every week to you? Or new people?
We have, it's a little bit of both. I mean, some people they regularly will donate, but then every once in a while you have someone that says, you were just on my mind and I wanted to give this to you, and that's an added blessing. Or somebody might call me and say, hey, I've got a high chair and I don't know what to do with it, and I'll be like, oh, I really don't want to get into everything because I just don't have anywhere to store it. But then I'll take it, and then the next day I'll have a family that goes, I really need a high chair, and I just don't know what to do, and I'm like, I have a high chair. So that's one of those God timing things.
Oh, yes. So you try to keep it to food and clothing and
we do reading glasses and hygiene stuff, and laundry detergent, which you don't think about. You kind of take that for granted. But I had a woman who said, saw that we had just brought in some laundry detergent, and she said, can I get some of that because I've been doing the laundry with my dish soap? And you don't think about that.
No.
I mean, it's something so little that we take for granted. So we're trying to be more aware. First aid supplies, razors, things like that. Those are big things. Is a professor who I just love dearly, and he really encouraged me. I talked to him one day about that, and he encouraged me, that I have things, I just don't realize it, just loving on someone. And so then the opportunity came up to go to Haiti. And so it was a total foreign experience. I'd never done anything like that.
Well, how did that come about? Was it with the church?
Our church, our sister church had, the pastor there had decided to go full-time ministry, him and his wife, to Haiti. He had been going for like 15 years. And
who is your sister church?
Down there, it was like we were First Christian Church of Merritt Island, and they were Discovery Christian Church. And we were in the next, this is in Florida. We're in the towns right next to each other. And so he decided to go there, and we had a lot of connections with them, and said, you know what, we're going to go and help him. And we're going to do a medical clinic while we're there. And we're going to do a VBS while we're there. And we got our people together. Yes. And I came back ready to move. And my son went with me. He's been twice to Haiti. And it was just, I got there and started working, and I said, this is what I was made for. This is exactly what God made me for. Whether it's Haiti or whether it's in Alabama or wherever He puts me, this is what I was made for, to serve Him, to serve other people. And sometimes you can look your whole life for, what is it that I was made for? Why did God create me? And when you find that and realize that's what it is, it is. I mean, even when things are tough, and you're just not sure, okay, He wants me to do this, how am I going to do this? Well, if He wants you to do this, He's going to equip you to do it.
Yeah. We have a friend, Charles and Ruth Balcom, and their son was in a helicopter that was killed during one of the times, and his wife lived in Tennessee, close to Fayetteville. Well, she was just searching, sounding like you. What am I going to do? And somebody invited her to Haiti and her family, and she went, and then our friend, Ruth Balcom, they put together a lot of, from donations. She said, I bought every toilet tissue that they had at all the dollar stores, and then toothpaste and the toothbrushes and the soap and washcloths and all the things that you think, oh, well, everybody has washcloths, but they don't, everybody, and especially after what happened in Haiti. And she went down there, and now she keeps going back and collecting money. But it has really, and I think about it, there are so many people that have loved ones that pass, and especially maybe a spouse, or in her case, it was a spouse, and then the one that it was their son. They all just work together, and it brings such joy to them that is joy unspeakable, as the Bible talks about, that they get from doing this. And I'm thinking about, you may have crossed paths when you were there in Haiti. Now, how about your children? What do they think about all of this that you're doing? Are they excited about it, or?
Well, my daughter goes down where we've got the space that the town gave us for the food pantry. She goes down with me once a week and helps me pack boxes and give out bags of food.
Have you ever asked her what she thinks about this
Well,
ministry?
she loves it. I have even said, like, if we've had something going on and she got to bed late and I knew she was going to be exhausted, you don't have to go, tomorrow, and it'll be fine, and I'll go to wake her up. And she's like, oh, I'm so tired. And then 5 minutes later, she goes, wait, I'm coming with you, because she just loves, that's her thing. Like, my son loved going to Haiti, and my daughter loves doing it here. So it's they see, you never know, and it's just always, it's been a part of their lives, serving in some way.
Now, you sing at the church also, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I sing. I do a lot of things.
Do you have any CDs?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I
I remember you singing.
I sing, and I.
Your son running camera, and I couldn't take my eyes off of him because he seemed to be so good at it. That's when I called you, or I gave him a note. And said, could you help us? And so here he is.
Yeah, and that's wonderful, because it's one of the things that he's talked about, a possibility for his future is to be into film stuff. So this is a great opportunity for him. I sing. I do drama. You came to our church for a dinner theater that we had.
Several of our people from the church where we go came over there. In fact, I gave a shower for a girl that was baptized there at your place because our baptistry wasn't working at the time. So they came over there, and she was baptized. That was a wonderful experience. Yeah. And she's now, her wedding's coming up real soon. So that's, so a lot of people use you guys for help in a lot of ways.
Well,
and I thought that camp that you guys were doing, that was the last day of a real camp. It was so realistic.
We had a
what
great
a blessing
time
it was.
We had a great
now, did
time.
you conduct that? Or?
I was